Hey guys, this looks like a fun one. So we have a rectangular prism right here, and then we're cutting out a trapezoidal prism. Now we want to find out what is the volume of this trapezoidal prism. If you want to try it on your own, pause it right now, because I'm going to solve it in 3, 2, 1. For the first step, let's make a copy of it. And then I want to get rid of all the labels. And let's see if we can pull the pieces out. Nice, that is so cool. Now let's do this one. Nice. And let's see if we can combine these two. Maybe I'll click right there. Cool. So here's our shaded prism. Now let's get rid of this top piece too. Let's remove the non-shaded pieces. And let's look at this prism from a different angle. All right, I like it. So this is a prism. The volume of a prism is equal to the base area times the height. So now looking up here, we can see that this height is equal to 50. So we can plug in 50 for the height. And next, let's focus on this base area. This is a trapezoid. We'll call this the height. We'll call this base 1 and this base 2. So the area of the base, or the area of a trapezoid, is equal to the height divided by 2 times the quantity of the bases added together. Or in other words, h over 2 times b1 plus b2. So let's find these things. Let's show only the front face of this thing. Let's move the lower labels to the top, and let's get rid of everything to the lower right of the shaded region. Let's zoom in up here and let's rotate it. Since this is b2, this bottom right here would also be b2. And then for this angle, if you look up here, this is a rectangular prism, so we know that this is a right angle, which means that this is a right angle. So now we have a right triangle we can work with. This 8 plus 8 would be 16, and this 6 plus 6 would be equal to 12. Now we can do the Pythagorean theorem. We have 16 squared plus 12 squared equals b2 squared. This looks kind of goofy with the two 2's. Let's write it like this. 16 squared is 256, and 12 squared is equal to 144. And 256 plus 144 is equal to 400. Next, let's square root both sides of the equation. Square root of 400 is equal to 20, and square root of this thing squared is this thing. So now we know that b sub 2 is equal to 20. So we can change this to 20, we can change this to 20, and we can change this to 20. Now let's go back to here and let's focus on b1, which would be this line right here. Well, that won't be too hard. We're just going to do Pythagorean theorem again. 8 squared plus 6 squared is equal to b sub 1 squared. That's 64 plus 36, which is equal to 100. After we square root both sides, we get 10 is equal to b sub 1. And now we can update those. This one would be 10, this one would be 10, and this down here in the formula would be equal to 10. Now let's go back to here again. The last thing we need to solve for is the height. In this diagram, this is the height right here. And this would also be the height right here. And the reason for that is because this is called a mid-segment of the triangle. It connects two midpoints of a triangle, and I'll cut it in half in this way. If you guys want me to make a follow-up video about mid-segments of triangles, let me know in the comments. But I'm hoping this makes intuitive sense. Let's get rid of this gray stuff, and let's condense these two labels. Now what we're about to do is one of my favorite things to do with math. Let's take this triangle and duplicate it. This is the exact same triangle, so we know they're equal to each other. We also know that their areas would be equal to each other. So now I'm going to take this triangle. I'm not going to do anything to the size of it, but I am going to rotate it just like that. Now the formula for the area of a triangle is equal to 1/2 base times height. So we're going to do 1/2 base times height for both of these triangles. For the one on the left, the base is equal to 10, and the height we're going to leave as h. And then for the one on the right, the base is equal to 6, and this height is equal to 8. So now we have everything we need to solve for h. On the left-hand side, 1/2 of 10 is equal to 5. And on the right-hand side, 1/2 of 6 is equal to 3, and 3 times 8 is equal to 24. Now to get h by itself, we can divide both sides by 5. On the left-hand side, these 5's will cancel each other out, leaving us with h. And on the right-hand side, 24 divided by 5 is 4.8. And that is our h. So we can update the height here to 4.8. And down here in our formula, we can change this h into 4.8. And now we're ready to find our base area. 4.8 divided by 2 is equal to 2.4. And inside the parentheses, 10 plus 20 is equal to 30. And then 2.4 times 30 is equal to 72. So we can update this base area to be 72. And now we have our volume. We do 72 times 50 to get 3,600. And we give it a label of meters cubed. The volume of this shaded prism is 3,600 meters cubed. How exciting. Wow, this is probably going to be a long video. I'm a little curious about who made it to the end.